All righty, folks, we are going to talk to a couple that was all over the event last week in Las Vegas. They were meeting and greeting and networking. I must have had 10 to 15 people come up to me during the event saying, "You have got to meet Jeff and Soleka. They are doing something very special with PTO for Life." So I'm like, I have no idea what PTO for Life is. So let's have a conversation. Let's get it going. How you doing, Jeff and Soleka?
Hi, good morning. Good morning. We're happy as can be and happy to be here to share our story and our new YouTube channel.
Yeah. There you go. Huge words of encouragement. I think getting a YouTube channel started now, kind of documenting the journey, is a huge unlock. It may not feel like that today, but trust me when I say when you're 1, 2, 3, 4 years ahead, you're gonna love to look back. But everybody starts a channel for some reason. Their why. Why don't you tell us your vision for PTO for Life?
So it started that Saturday at the meeting at
Wow.
your celebration. Millennial Mike was behind it, and just like the words that I would hear from different people. And I couldn't go to bed that night. I was so like drunk with how wonderful the whole event was. And I was totally sober, but you know what it is.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, my mind was just on cloud nine. And so I've always had this name kind of in the back of my mind, just because when we would be asked to go on road trips or vacations or just pretty much anything, it would be always like, "Oh, I don't have enough PTO," or I only have 2 days of PTO left for the rest of the year. And it was just always like a thing. And I was like, "Gosh, Jeff, hopefully one of these days we'll have PTO for life." And that's where house hacking has got us. And so that's where the name came from. But it's mostly to lessen the learning curve for people that are going through house hacking, or even just landlord issues. And Jeff is really good on the talking to people about it, because he helps people get through their house hacks or finds their house hacks. And then for me, I'm just I lived it with him, so I want to be able to help. And the big thing too, he actually planted the seed like 6 months ago, what he said. Oh yeah. So she actually had that name in her mind, so it wasn't like so much it was kind of already, the seed was planted, and then the event almost it catapulted me. Yeah. I didn't know it was going to be a YouTube channel. That was never. I just thought, well, like maybe we'll write a book about our journey or something, and it should be PTO for Life. But now I know that after listening to Coach Carson and everybody, like, okay, you don't have to do everything at once. Just
right.
Just stick to one thing, focus on one thing. Sean Canal said that. And so all those things just really help align.
Yeah, Sean Canals is certainly a highlight for me during the event. Just really encouraging everybody, to just push record, to just get started. You'll never be perfect. Perfection is a myth. Just get started and put it out there and get a little bit better every day. So let's get into house hacking. It's obviously going to be an anchor of the PTO for Life. But let's rewind the clock. You've done a couple of house hacks already, so let's kind of unpack that and go back to the very first one.
Yeah, so let's take a trip back in time to 2017. So
wow. Okay.
Back then, and all we knew was, hey, we read a paragraph in a book, and that just said buy a 2 to 4 units, and it was Mark Ferguson, how to build a rental property empire. And then I convinced her, like, hey, I came home, I was so excited. I was like, hey, I read a paragraph. Are you willing to move out of this condo and go live in a fourplex? And what did you say? I was like, yeah, I'll go wherever you go. Yeah. I didn't care.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. So you were in a condo as a rental or an owner?
Owner. So it was paying $1,500 a month with the HOA. Nope, just one bed, one bath, loft style, beautiful condo. Took him 2 years or 1 year to find? A year and a half to find it. I was an annoying, picky buyer that was like, oh, I don't feel right. I want this. I want the duck pond. I want a high ceiling, a spiral staircase, and I found that. But it took a year and a half. Yeah. So we
sold the condo and moved into this fourplex, and that's where the journey began in 2017.
Yeah.
And we went from $1,500 all the way down to zero, living for free. And that first one was really what catapulted us, because we were both working W-2 jobs, 2 weeks PTO max.
Well,
then,
that's a huge unlock. I mean, you two did that. You've obviously probably heard Anna Kelly's story. She did that as well. She calls it her best financial move ever, selling the big house in Texas, buying the fourplex in Pennsylvania, two-story fourplex. So she had to live upstairs. And it's just a great unlock, right? You went from spending, 1,500 or 1,200 to zero. And you could just stack all that paper on the side, right?
Yeah, and that was the amazing thing. I was calculating is like, how, if we both got monster bonuses or raises our job, can we even compete with $1,500 per month net?
Exactly.
That's a net number, yeah.
So that's my background in corporate finance. So I love the numbers. I like analyzing things. I love the spreadsheets. So you speak my love language, Mike, with your 50-year spreadsheet.
There you go. There you go. Well, let's talk about that first year, because a lot of people maybe read Mark Ferguson or other books that talk about house hacking, get started, but maybe we don't talk about, the actuals, right? So, okay, you buy the fourplex, you move in, now you have 3 tenants. How was that first year? Was it tenants, toilets, and termites? Was it chaotic? Do you have evictions? What was kind of the good, bad, and ugly of that first year experience?
Well, literally the first day we got in there, once we signed all the paperwork and we had bought all the paint and things from Home Depot, we had no idea that there were 8 people living below us, and they didn't know the house had been sold. So
that was fun.
just imagine that, but getting a fourplex that needs so much work, number one, that's already a hard foot to start on. But number two, now knowing that there are 8 people living in this place that was supposed to be vacant, and that was a situation.
So that was our first week. We had to do
an eviction.
First week. We actually didn't have, you said toilets, tenants, termites. We had toilets,
roaches,
cockroaches.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Surprisingly, Colorado, we're based out of Denver, so it's rare to get termites here, like, because
it's cold.
So dry and cold. So we do get infestation. Even cockroaches are rare. Like, I didn't know cockroaches existed here until we got this property. I was like, what is that thing? Yeah. And then Suleika's like, oh, that's a cockroach, because she used to live in Florida, so she knows what they look like. I was so confused. I'm like, is that what I think it is? But it's
an alien bug.
Nasty. So when I was, from the little bit we had learned, I thought, let's do cash for keys so we can just get them out, and it just should work out. Well, when I went to go talk to them, and these were Spanish speakers, so Jeff said, just you handle it, Suleika. And that was the beginning of my whole landlording experience.
You handle the hard stuff.
So I told them, I said, look, we can give you X amount of money. I had a paper drawn out so they can sign it. And the lady said, oh, no, we can't do that. We just come here and stay for vacation. We don't even have a lease here. And I was like, what? And I was so confused. Like, what do you mean you come for vacation? Oh yeah, we just come for the summer and then we leave and we go back to our country. And I was like, oh, okay. So who has a lease with this place, with this owner? She goes, no, we just pay him cash. He comes by and picks it up. Well, he's no longer the owner. So that's where I really had to put my foot down and say, okay, well, you guys need to go. Right. They couldn't take a check because they're technically not even supposed to be, renting or anything here in the States. And so that was the thing. 2 dumpsters full of things, because when they left, they said, oh, none of that furniture is ours. It's just been there. So we just use it.
Right.
Crazy. And that was the kickoff. Everything else got a lot easier. And that's what I hope for other people too, to lessen that curve, to really push forth that you should go and do a walkthrough when you're getting a fourplex, even a single family. There could be some squatters in there, and so that's really important, and that'll help you.
And looking back to the mistakes we made, it was way harder than it had to be. That was the big takeaway. Like, we learned a lot. We learned more in that first year, and we still, you know, because we house hacked, that's how we were able to overcome that obstacle of
Sure.
all those problems we had. But we great education, and like no book or podcast could have prepared us for that.
Yeah.
But you sometimes have to take that leap to go all in to be successful, because we learned that first year was this incredible learning experience. But looking back, it was there were some things we could have done differently, like due diligence, make sure you get all the leases in writing, make sure you do a walkthrough of all the units. And that's where we just kind of just trusted our realtor. So he just made it sound like, oh yeah, just you move in, you'll close, you introduce yourself, get the lease. And then we just took his word for it, because, you know, we were so junior.
Yeah.
And we said, oh, he's 30-year experienced realtor. And we just,
folks, do your due diligence. Another example of a realtor just pushing a transaction through. Really, it really could have ended badly. But you fought through it. You fought through it. How long did it take? Because again, it sounds like you bought a fixer, so you knew you needed work, not only this unit, but likely the building. How long did it take for you to kind of get the building, I don't know, get the building right or to your expectations?
Yeah, so we didn't move in because of that cockroach infestation for about 2 months.
Yeah.
So we had, you know, professionals come exterminate, spray it, all that stuff. They got rid of it. But we did repairs on the unit we were going to live in, and the unit below us, once we got those tenants out. And then we inherited these tenants, 2 tenants in the back, and we just renewed their leases at market rent. So that was the nice thing. It was like break even before we moved into the top one.
Oh, wow.
See, so it wasn't so much, it was just totally vacant and we're doing everything. It was just 2 units we had to really focus in on. So once we got the bottom unit rented at market, and then we kept the 2 in the back, we moved in, and that's when we were basically pretty solid, but took us a good 3 months to get 4 months to get everything stabilized.
My sister's basement for the last 2 months. So it was very kind of her.
Yeah, thank you.
Shout out family.
Yes.
All right, so you get. Yep, go ahead.
Oh, and then we basically got through all that, and we were prepared to buy basically 11 months later.
Wow. All right, so again, you get into it, you prove it works, you're living for free or nearly free, and you're like, hey, let's do it again. So what were you looking for this time? So a 4-plex the first time. What next?
Next, I think with all of like the 4-plex, that was a little overwhelming. And the more research Jeff would do, he thought, what if we find a single family instead of back then when you had to put 15 to 20% down for a multifamily?
Sure.
He thought, what if we do a single family that maybe has a separate mother-in-law or a carriage house, ADU?
I like it.
That. Yeah. So he said maybe we can live in one room, rent out the other rooms and the carriage house with a separate mother-in-law, and that was exactly what we found. So that was really cool. We've tried pretty much every strategy there is. So, that one was it was nice.
Yeah, so it was the opposite. So it was unofficial duplex, but with the right zoning to allow for renting like 2 units up and down. And that one was way more move-in ready. So we were able to get a tenant much faster. So we moved into the basement of that one and got a tenant upstairs. And that thing was really stabilized. And that 1 to 2 was incredible, because we moved out of the unit we were in, that 4-plex, and moved into this one. And we also enhanced the returns of the second one because we rented rooms. She was like, as long as I'm okay if you share a bathroom, but as long as you come home, everything's okay.
Yeah. So, that's fine. I'd go to the gym and take showers. Sometimes I didn't want to take a shower in the house. But it forced me to go to the gym, so it was a blessing in disguise.
I like how you turned it into a blessing. That's very nicely. That's a nice mental trick, because a lot of people look at that as a hassle.
Oh yeah, no, it was helpful.
And then Dion talks about the income snowball, and that one we moved out of the first one, and that was like about $800 a month after moving out. And then the one we moved into while living there, mind you, and having roommates, $1,000 a month. So now we're living for free and getting $1,800 per month on our second. That's
Wow.
what we're starting to feel, like, holy cow, we're keeping our jobs, and just moving. And now we found like, okay, this property, this type is the difference.
Okay.
And these single families with mother-in-laws, there's a lot more.
Yeah. So I guess the first question I have is, why didn't you live in the small house, carriage house? Just
Oh,
curious.
no, it was downstairs. It was
Oh, so it wasn't like front and back. It was
yeah, no.
Not on this one.
okay, okay, okay.
I described it wrong.
Yeah, that's a future one.
Okay.
This one is just a house with a base, like walkout basement, separate entrance.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now I can visualize it. Okay. So this is probably what, 2019, 2020? You're on your second one?
2000, now we're in 2019.
Okay. All right. Where do we go from here? Because I think this is you got a couple under your belt, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I think of it as like I told Deb, it's like giving yourself a raise every year, like a nice big raise every year. And so why not keep doing it? And then from there we moved to another one. That one was big again. We just took one room. This time I just said, let's just try to see if we can find one that has a separate bathroom.
Yeah.
We just live in the master. I'm
Right.
cool with that. Let's do it. And we found one.
Yeah, so it's like we're almost trying to do better each time because we're becoming more educated, know what the deal, no deal is, knowing our buy box much better. As you talk about all the time, like we had more defined criteria, so we know, like, oh, we know this one will work even better. And it was an even bigger house. It was like a 3,000 square foot house.
Oh, wow.
But with, full, that's when we did Section 8 the first time. They're renting the bottom unit, and then we lived upstairs in the master and did rent by room again.
So tell me about the rent by room part, because a lot of people just hear that and they go, not for me. Were you renting to friends? Were you renting to only ladies, only guys? Did you, I mean, because this is, they're not really, you have different rules when they live in your home. What was kind of your tenant criteria or tenant avatar for the ones that lived in your space?
Well, I don't mind living with guys. Actually, it's a lot for me. It's a lot easier. I'm the middle of 5 kids, and so I was always around my brothers, and so it was fine. They're actually much, in my opinion, it was much easier to deal with. The good thing about being a house hacker is that you can fall under the Miss Murphy's exemption, which allows you to be a little more picky without having to get in trouble for discriminating or anything. So if you wanted just all roommates that had one arm, like you could look for that.
You could, yeah.
But but yeah, just people kind of our age was fine, and it just Def did a lot of that.
Yeah. So the criteria is pretty straightforward. With rent by room, I kind of look at it as, high risk, high return. But because of the higher risk, you have to somehow mitigate that risk. And the way I did it was short leases. So they didn't get a 1-year lease to start, or even 6 months. We started every single person. I don't care if they had a 780 credit score, perfect credit, $200,000 job, or worked at, did Uber driving and making, $20 an hour. We treated them all the same. They still had to pass the, no felonies, bankruptcies, evictions, of course, and 3 times income to rent. But we did 2 to 4 month leases, and now allowed us to kind of be our insurance policy just in case this person is, starts off. It's like a trial period, and that's what we did for. That's the main screening thing we did for rent by room.
Now I'm curious, rent by room. I'm guessing you rented these furnished. That's just a guess.
The rooms were not furnished. The living rooms were.
Right, the common area.
Yeah, so I would buy the pots and pans, the forks, spoons, couch, everything but a TV was pretty much provided.
No TV in the living room.
Makes sense. Everybody goes. So again, so you're potentially having a lot of people move in, move out, or a lot of, because they're going to bring in their bed, their dresser, their TV. There's, a lot of commotion, I'm guessing, or could be.
Actually, you'd be surprised, Mike. There was most people. Sometimes they don't even have like bed frames. They just
throw the mattress down,
or a dresser. Sometimes they just Some of them have more stuff than others, but usually these rooms are like 10 by 11, and
not a lot of stuff.
And they're more transitory type of tenant class, so they're already kind of used to moving, so they usually have less stuff than your
Got it. Okay. And now what was the kind of average tenure? Because we're into your third unit now. I mean, are people staying in these rooms 6 months, a year? What was kind of the average? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, so knowing that particular house, it's really incredible. We've had some, like, we still have a guy there today. That was 4 or 5 years ago. He's
Oh
still there.
wow.
Yeah.
And there, another guy's there 2 years. So that particular house has been really amazing for like tenant, like low vacancy. The other houses, it's usually on average about 8, 9 months is the average.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then again on the house number 2, when you moved into number 3, you just rented out the master bedroom to someone else, just kind of kept rolling it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just did rent, we just kept just rinse and repeat, just rented out the space that we vacated.
Okay. I like it. I like it. So we went from $1,800 after your second one. Now you're renting the master bedroom. You're on to your third one. To Suleika's point, you just got another raise. Where do we go in this store? Are we up to like $3,000 or something?
Yeah, I think at this point about $3,000 or 3,200 is what, and we're living for free. So it's just like, holy cow! Like we're starting to say, this is really, we found something that
Right.
I wish everyone knew about. And most of my friends, I told them about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's cool," and then they would just dismiss it, or they didn't really believe me. Like, you're crazy. What, you're living with roommates?
Yeah. What are you in college? Oh, that's amazing. So how many house hacks have you done to date?
7.
You're in your 7th.
Yes.
Yes.
And we're in the little carriage house right now.
Ah, see, I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Eventually.
I like it. I like it. So how many tenants do you have across 7 units? Like how many, I guess, rent checks are you collecting a month?
27.
Wow. So you're averaging roughly 4 people per house, roughly.
Yes.
Per unit. Okay.
And that's a mixture of Section 8, rent by room, and long-term market tenants.
I've got to admit, I've never heard of Section 8 for rent by room. I guess I should not be surprised, but any oddities, Section 8 versus cash? Like, do they still do inspections? Do they still like does Section 8 have its whole process for rent by room? I've never done.
Section 8 does do rent by room, but we don't try for that. We just do normal Section 8 for the units.
It's like a family.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
So we switched a couple of the rent by room ones to a Section 8. Yeah.
So instead of having 5 tenants, we'll just have the one.
Yep.
4 kids or something.
But Section 8 does do rent by room. I have seen it before, and I just haven't gone through with it just because usually there's just so much demand for just normal. Like, I don't need the extra 2 weeks of it'd be the same as a normal Section 8.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So so you're into this. Wow. So you started at 18. What is it? 2024. You're in your 7th. I guess, are you guys going to go for the Lumberjack Landlord's record, which I think was 7? I could be wrong, but you guys might know.
9.
Is it 9?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We want to call them out right here. We want to thank them for inspiring us to, go for more. And we're excited too, because now, we're comfortable. We both quit our W-2s.
Wow.
And that's the true power, is to let us to build, and then walk away comfortably.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So when did you quit the same time? Was it staggered, like one first, one second? How did that happen?
Good question. Well, I sort of retired a little earlier. It was during the pandemic.
Sort of retired mean? What does that mean? It's a hand gesture. I don't know what that means.
Well, I've been doing market. I've been in the gig industry for about 12 years. So I still would kind of dabble in that. I really like it. Plus, it's the way I met my husband. So it just has a hold on me. But I would still do those little gigs here and there for Coca-Cola, Visa, Red Bull, whatever. I would still do that. But like my job, which was in sales, I was like, it is over. Once they told us, all right, you got to work from home and you got to have a whole desk in there. Well, Jeff and we were in this little room. Like, how do we so I'm literally sitting on my bed and Jeff's sitting on the other side, and that's where we're doing our work. And so I was like, you know what? How about I just don't do this anymore? I'm good.
I like
that. That was how I did it. And then I've been
what,
encouraged.
what year was that? Or month or year or whatever.
2020.
Oh, you've been gone a long time, girl. All right, 2020.
During the lockdown. But then I kept doing like other gig work, and that actually it gave me the opportunity to try other jobs that I've always been interested in. Now I don't really care about the resume and all that. I was just like, I want to try it out. So I've worked at a casino, I've worked at like a money handling place, I've done so many different things. So a substitute teacher that I never thought I'd ever do. And we just to kind of dabble in. And
I like it. I like
curious.
it. All right, Jeff. So when does the big guy leave corporate finance, which I think you said your job was early? When does that happen?
That was December 2023.
Oh, not that he knows it exactly. December 23.
No, you'll like my story, Mike. It's basically I was gonna go and tell my boss, put in my 2 weeks. So it was a small 15-person real estate consulting company, and I worked directly under the CFO. And I was like nervous to go tell him because I'm not one that likes the confrontation of like, oh, give you bad news, right? So I talked to Suleika. She's like, okay, got this. Here's what you're gonna do. 1, 2, 3. Here's what you're gonna say. And then it's one of those jobs too. You work 8 to 6, like never gonna leave early and all that. And always 2 weeks PTO. That's it. And I go in there to my boss, all amped up, ready to give him my 2 weeks. And then he's talking to the CEO, and basically he says, Jeff, you've done a great job this week. You can head out early. So I just leave. I just split, and I don't say anything. And I call Slick and said, "Yeah, I choked. I didn't actually complete the job." So then it takes me. I go in there for a couple more weeks, and then
already checked out.
And then her brother asked her, "Is like, what did he say to you?"
He's like, "Where's Jeff?" I was like, "He's at work." And he goes, "Oh, I thought he quit." No, I don't even know why he's showing up. I don't know. It just like building up the nerve to do it. The boss wasn't a very nice person, so I could see how it kind of had a hold on him to where he didn't want to disappoint him, and kind of felt bad. And I told him, there are sometimes some bridges that you do that it's okay to burn because it helps you get to the next place that you want to go, and you don't have to look back, and you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, is he going to give me a good reference? Is he not? I said, Jeff, why are we doing this then? So you can go back to work? No, we're doing, why are we sacrificing? We're doing it so that we don't have to look back. We don't have to go back to work. And you did it. You did it.
I finally pulled the trigger, and I was there a little longer too because I had a lot of snacks, Mike. Snacks, animal crackers, espresso, coffee. So I think that's what kept me there longer. And
the little treats. That's funny. That's hilarious. So curious, did anybody in your office know the kind of sacrifices you were making and the duration you'd done it? Like, anybody know you were house hacking at the office?
Yes, I did commute. So we have it was real estate consulting company. We had some architects on staff for the design, and I told a couple people, and they knew about it, but and I even told my boss a little bit, but the CFO, and he just couldn't understand it in his mind because he was just like, "What are you doing?" What? He would like explain it to him, and he understand it conceptually, but like logically, he's like, "Okay, like I get the numbers," but he's like, "Okay, so you're." The age you're at the time, I think the first time I told him I was like 37 years old. I was like, you're 37 and you're living with roommates? Yeah. What are you, a college guy?
Yeah, exactly. What are you in college?
People almost think like I'm going backwards or like, oh, what's something wrong? Are you struggling? They have to live with a bunch of roommates. So it's like almost telling people like, no, we're fine. If anything,
we're better.
We're better than fine. Yeah. And that was it's like a different language. And that's what I appreciate about your channel a lot too, is that people and the conference. The most amazing thing is you're talking to people speaking the same language.
Yeah, that's amazing. So let's put the cherry on top. So you're in this since 2018. You're in your 7th unit. You're now in the back of the carriage unit. You both have retired. You do a little side work for fun, not because you need the money. What are we talking, like $8,000 a month net? 7,500? Where are we at in this picture?
Yeah, as of today, it's about 9,500 per month net after net cash flow.
And no mortgage. You're living for free.
And we're living for free. Yeah, we got the front tenant in the front house over here paying. Yeah, actually, we're living for free and a couple $100.
Yeah, we're living at ADU. So.
Yep.
So I just want people to realize, right? This is all possible. This is all you can do this.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, you're going to be uncomfortable. Yes, people will make fun of you. I got to tell you, if I was, I'm guessing roughly 40-ish, given you said you were 37 before. So
I'm 40 now.
So I'm guessing she's not. I'm just guessing.
No.
She went like this, look over there. I'm going, okay, I know what that means. So again, 6 years of sacrifice. You guys were in this together, clearly. I mean, since you had this, conversation in Spanish with the 8 tenants in the fourplex to now in the carriage house, you've been together even during the shutdown on your bed. I mean, tell people how that works, because you've been through stuff that would likely stress most couples out, right? You're talking 6 years of roommates and hassles and roaches and squatters and, all of these things. How do you guys, it seems to me outside looking in, you're more connected today than maybe you were 8 years ago, but maybe I'm wrong.
We started house hacking like 5 years after we first met, after we first started dating. And I knew I wanted to just hang out with Jeff for the rest of my life. I would say love does conquer it all. But at the same time, it actually does bring you together, really, because if you're in a good relationship, this will really test you on things. And
amen.
It tests you on a lot of different things, on what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what can you share. I always tell Jeff, if you don't like to do something, give it to me. Like, put the burden on me for something, and you do what you do best. I'll do what I like to do, which like Jeff typing and spreadsheets, that's all him. He's a freak in the sheets. Pun, no.
Wow. It really should.
It's a spreadsheets, but but it is great and even just keeping it going. If you're a yeller, for example, like if you're yelling at each other all the time, it'll make you quiet down real fast, because you're living next to your tenants. You don't want your tenants being like, Jesus, like these people are yelling at
drama there. Yeah.
Exactly. So you learn to talk through things even when it can be difficult, but that has actually really helped with communication and whatnot. Jeff is the really like sweet, chill one. I'm a little more rough around the edges, so it's really helped me just be more calm and in situations where sometimes I'm like, no, this tenant cannot be doing this. Like, what's going on? And so it's worked out. So it's definitely good.
The 7 units, like, are they like within a 20-mile radius, or what are we talking?
Yeah, I think within all of them are within 15 miles, 5 to 15 miles of each other. The furthest one the 15 miles. Yeah.
And you still self-manage all of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
We actually tried to spot manager for a little bit, but they just don't treat it the same way.
No, of course.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Kids, but these houses are definitely our babies, so I take care of them.
Yeah.
Well, let's actually have that conversation. So again, married couple, no kids. If you were to have a kid, do you think that would have changed anything in the journey?
No, I think if we were still in the journey, we would finish it out. We would just look for a separate little ADU or a mother-in-law suite, and then we would live in there. Nothing stops us. Actually, some of our own tenants that have asked us, wow, you guys are so young, like you have all these properties, how did you do it? And we just tell them, oh, we just house hacked, just like we used to live in the room right next to you. Yeah. We're on our way to our next house. And it's actually motivated them. They have probably never picked up a real estate book, but they see that what we're doing, and it's inspired them to do it. There's a tenant that just had a baby. He's currently on his second house hack. And so it's great to be able to see that in others. So yeah, you'll get made fun of, but that's the wrong people. Those are not the people you want. That are never going to get it anyway. The people
Yeah,
that
you
are
need-
going to get it, they're going to ask the questions. They're going to take that leap of faith. And instead of paying us $1,500 for a 1-bedroom, now they're getting their own house. They're making money and they're moving it along. It's great.
It's such an amazing story. You want to say something, Jeff? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, and it's cool because my side job that I jumped into so a few years ago, I got my real estate license to help house hackers, and more so for ourselves. Actually, at the time, we were like, wait a minute, why don't I just I know how to find these properties. Why don't I just get a license and we just do one deal a year?
Yeah,
just
we just
for
want
us.
one deal a year.
And basically, it was very simple to get the license. It's not that hard. And I was able to leverage it. And then weirdly enough, it turned in from a side hustle just for ourselves. And then now I give people like house hackers, investors, some of the tenants turn into clients. It's like so amazing, like so unexpected, basically.
Yeah. Well, this just popped into my head, so I'm going to ask it now. I'll probably ask it again at the end. But as you know, we're going to do this event in Vegas next year. Would you two like to be one of the speakers during the session and tell this journey and take questions from the audience?
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's like.
It would be honored.
Wow.
Blessed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I will.
Absolutely.
I have a whole spreadsheet of stuff I'm tracking. So as soon as this is over, I will add you to the list of speakers. Again, I love the husband-wife combination. I love the story. I love the ugliness of the beginning. I love trying to get better every time, staying together. I think house hacking is the unlock for most people, and doing it over and over again is awesome. Doing it until you both could quit is awesome. I mean, people need to see it. Yeah. 6, 7 years, you have roommates. Eventually you live in the back. You got $9,500 a month cash flow. You're living okay. I think that needs to be and it will be, assuming you say yes to one of the sessions at ORAT 2024 or 2025. So thank you. I am curious. You obviously sacrificed for a long time. Quitting is amazing, which is very cool. But have you like taken a vacation or a little treat that you've rewarded yourself with for 6 or 7 years? Is there any story there that you've kind of rewarded yourself?
Oh yeah. Even throughout the journey, any little wins, like when we would buy the house and we would get it all, like all the houses, the rooms rented, we would like treat ourselves. We'd go out for like a nice dinner or something. We would, just whatever. Like we did not want it to feel like a huge sacrifice. So it's been fun along the way. It really has. And we didn't go super, super frugal. We did cut out some things here and there, but that was just like I bought a shirt from your site there that says "Stop buying stupid shit," and like I stopped buying stupid shit, and I bought your shirt, by the way. So
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. Thank you. I saw that. I'm like, I think I'm talking to her. Yeah, yeah.
But just stuff like that, though. Even now, yeah, we've gone on actually our second honeymoon that we went on. So we've been taking cruises. So even on cruises, people look at us kind of like, what are these young people doing here?
Olivia and I love cruises. Where have you guys gone? I love to cruise. We've done, I think, 20 of them.
Wow! So, wow!
Yeah. Yeah. So where have you gone?
So in South America,
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
Like the Central Caribbean, Southern Caribbean, South America, Central America, and we want to do our next one, maybe Europe.
Yeah. Maybe
my favorite cruise of all time, Olivia's too, was the Mediterranean.
Wow.
Just every island is different. Just a great experience. Although don't go in August. It's really hot in August.
Oh, good to know. Good to know.
Don't go in August. So let's kind of bring this home. Somebody watching this is thinking about it. They're in a relationship. How do you start that conversation? Jeff reads a paragraph in Mark Ferguson's book, brings it home to you. I mean, how should somebody start that conversation with their significant other?
How should they? Well, I got caught off guard, really. I just said yes. I literally just said yes. Jeff could have invited me to go join a cult with him, and I would have said yes. Luckily,
Ah,
real estate instead, and it's really given us some great benefits along the way. But really, it's like, okay, mate or person that I love,
mhm,
I would love to spend more time with you and not be at work all the time, or I'd love to spend
right.
more time with the kids and not be at work all the time. How about we do this for whatever their number is? Maybe they only need 8 grand a month. Maybe they only
Mhm.
need an extra 5,000 a month. Whatever their number is, let's do that many house hacks. And then guess what? We're gonna make that amount. We're gonna make that number. As opposed to this person working until they're 60,
Mm,
65, some people in their 70s I see working. And it just breaks my heart. I'm like, gosh, that could have been us, but it's not going to be because we're already done. And so anything we can do to get the word out and say, yeah, do that 5 year little sacrifice. If you love your job so much, you can still do it. It's not going to stop you from doing your job,
right.
but it just gives you more options. It gives you the, like
Yeah.
Dion says, now you have the option. Do I want to work or do I not?
Yeah.
And
So
who
again,
was
he's the freak in the sheet. I just love that quote. You guys got to like clip that.
Spreadsheets, but
That's where my mind went, but that's okay. Um, just I guess I'm a guy. Anyways, so did you have that plan like in 2018? Did you already know it would take 6 years and 6 house hacks, or was this more of, hey, we'll just do one at a time? Or did you have that spreadsheet that said, hey,
yeah,
here's our
no.
journey?
My original one, because I didn't know at the time, right? There wasn't, I didn't even know Bigger Pockets because I didn't know your channel was around. I just kind of went off that paragraph and just went all in and take that risk. Because I was like, holy cow, what this could change our lives. And my original plan was buy 10 fourplexes with
Oh, okay.
FHA financing and get $500 a month cash flow to hit 5K. That was my original plan. I was like, very
Okay.
like, we'll move once a year, 10 times, and we'll get there in
Ah,
10 years. So I kept it really simple. I'm like, 5 grand a month is really life changing at that time. And,
mhm.
you
Yeah,
know,
5 grand a month, no housing expense. That's the key. Five
yeah.
grand, no housing. Yeah.
And then it obviously changed after the first one. I was like, okay, we're not going to do the fourplex thing.
That's again, that's I love the fact that you had a plan, a vision. I love that it seems like you were both signed up and ready to do 10 years, right? That takes commitment. But also you refine the model, right? You weren't stuck to it. It's like this is gonna be fourplexes. It's like what fits us. Like the first three, you were tinkering the whole journey. That's pretty amazing. So shout out to you two.
Thank
Yay,
you.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
pivoting is helpful. Yeah, and not going after too many things is just kind of sticking to that. House hacking is a cheat code to well than it
Yeah.
is.
absolutely. So let's talk about the channel. PTO for Life gets spun up at the event. What can people look for on it? What's the schedule? When can people expect content? You're now speaking at the event in 2025, so that's cool. What's going on?
Oh, cool. Um, um, well, just like I jumped into real estate is how I jumped into YouTube. So
That's
before,
how you roll. That's me too. I'm like, oh, we're in. Let's go.
yeah. So I'm right now. I'm just kind of throwing in the little shorts, little conversations. Actually, we were at dinner, and one of our previous tenants, who is now a house hacker on her second one, she was at my mom's house because she's dating my brother, and so she was just telling us, oh yeah, there's this thing about my tenant, and I was like, can I tape that? Like, this is such a great conversation.
Yeah.
I would love to share, even if it's, sometimes good, sometimes bad
Yeah.
experiences, but it's so good to share that. Like, this speaks to the power of screening your tenants really well before you get them in your house. And so those learning experiences. So I want to put that out. Eventually, we'll start putting things out on Section 8. There are a lot of questions about it. There are a lot of misconceptions about Section 8. There are a lot of real, raw, true stories about, the downside of it. And so
Mhm.
we just want to share it all, and of course share our journey. I never documented anything on social media. I really suck. I was never active on it, and so this is so new for me, but I think it is important. It's like a passion project. What is that? Love,
Diary.
no, not a love diary.
It's just to PG-13.
It's just a thing so people can see what our story was,
Yeah.
what we went through, and then have those teachable moments. Have a
Yeah.
couple questions on most asked Section 8 questions. People will call us about Section 8 stuff all the time, and it would be great to shoot them a video and say, hey, here, check this out. This has all the information.
My favorite thing is tenant screening. So I'm like passion. That's my passion. Like, is I like to find dirt on people to see, is this a fake pay stub? I don't know. Let me see what's going on here. Let me see these bank statements. Let me see their average spend per month. Like, I like, you know, that goes back to my corporate finance analyst at heart. And I think that's the thing I'm really passionate about and I'm excited about to share on the channel is how to really screen tenants really well. And that's how you become a successful landlord.
Yeah, so you don't have so much turnover all the time.
Yeah, PTO for life is as long as you stay true to yourself, which you just highlighted for me, you know it's going to be a journey. I can promise you, you will create many, many, many more house hackers. You will create many more people who do this for 5 or 6 years. You will help retire people early. And
that's our goal. That's what we want. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
even
amazing.
if one person can retire,
Just one.
or if they're like, we want to be Jeff and Slake up, we do. We want people to be way more successful than us and maybe even finish off sooner than us.
Except Lumberjack would beat him first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you gotta go for 10. Lumberjack, they called you out, buddy. You gotta get the wife and the kid, 4 kids into. No, I'm just kidding. He's not doing that. All right, so PTO for life is the YouTube channel, folks. Go check it out. They're going to document the story. They will be speaking at ORAT 2025. They will be on stage. Everybody was right. You two are rocking and rolling. I appreciate you. If I can do anything to help out, you just let me know. Have an amazing day.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah.
Yay!
For life. Yeah.
There you go.